Have you ever seen a rainbow that did not bend? One that didn't fluctuate like a wilting flower, but stood strong and sturdy like a stem, acting as a technicolored beanstalk to the heavens. Have you ever seen a newborn that never cried? Just stored oxygen inside of its little lungs, like each molecule represented a fond memory that they will never live long enough to see. Have you ever seen a child with no laughter? Just an imagination big enough to consume all of his questions. They told him that he was that vertical rainbow, that breathless baby. They told him that he had such an imagination, and now he stands on stage and tells his tall tales to tons of listeners. He's right here, so listen up. I was not raped. I was touched. And anyone who doesn't understand the seriousness between the two's distinction has obviously never been sexually offended. I was touched. And they tried to blame it on my over-imaginative mind, and quite frankly, I wouldn't mind using that as an excuse to forget about the way they trailed over this landscape like it was an unscathed planet in an otherwise barren solar system and spread my Pangea legs like the continental drift away. Members of my family tree said their weeping willow fingers around my waist like branches, so I weeped into pillows while eyes were dancing on the innards of my thigh. And when they would leave, the leaves of our treehouse childhood secret would always fall, which is why I nicknamed my imaginary friends Autumn. That family tree was burned to ash, so my childhood was not Pokemon, more like they poked me, Mom. Gotta catch them all. This realization is more shocking than Pikachu. They always want to sneak peeks at you, so while everyone else was learning their 1, 2, 3, my math be more complex. My bones were bent to angles, so they would call me a QT, then make my legs go up too. Stay held and secure in their fingertips. And I wanted to play tag, not knowing that being it would be such a task. I was touched, so every time I play duck, duck, I get goosebumps on my back. They told me to stand up straight. But when you've been practicing how to arch and throw it back since the age of 10, you forget what a man's posture's supposed to look like.
Come on, go in.
But pastors look past looking in my past, or past the young feminine boy, because the fact that he's crossing his legs at age 8 makes his manhood self-conscious, makes his God too self-righteous for me. And any of my lack of masculinity, they told me to hold my head up. But I've upheld the fingertips of too many morticians. They turned mouths into funeral halls. Every kiss was a closed casket, a time capsule buried 6 feet deep under disgust and fear. I've dug out my past. Bare hands and scraped knees, nails caked with dirt, so afraid to pick up a pen out of fear that this poem would get too dingy, too filthy, that they might assume my technicolor orientation originated from black revolting nights. So I am asking you, have you ever seen a rainbow that did not bend? I haven't. But I want so badly to be that rainbow that reaches into heaven instead of fluctuating down into hell. Have you ever seen a newborn that never cried? She just stored oxygen inside of her little lungs, like each molecule represented a fond memory that she'll never live long enough to see. Well, I have. And I'm just trying to reach my baby sister up there one day. Have you ever seen a child with no laughter? Just an imagination big enough to consume all of his questions. Well, I once was. And I want so badly for my imagination to be that massive again. Thank you.